would really appreciate it if everyone could turn on their cameras, please. Okay, thank you so much, Rishita. Thank you so much, Zeel. Amir, Ayat, could you guys please turn on your cameras? All right. So there are more kids joining in. Let's give them a minute. All right. Okay, so I hope everyone's doing great. Everyone's having a great day. Show me a thumbs up if you're having a very pleasant day. Okay, great, Rishita. Great, Ayat. Okay, everyone, please turn on your cameras. All right, so now we're in almost into the holiday season. So who's waiting for Christmas to just arrive and have a big feast? Who's excited for Christmas? Okay. All right, I see some big smiles. Hello, Amir. Could you turn on your camera, please? All right. Thank you so much, love. Okay. So, everyone, today we have gathered here for one very important session and a very fun session as well. So, I hope you all know that we are planning to do creative writing in today's session. Am I correct? Yes. So, we'll be going over a lot of different things, tips, tricks, little ideas, hacks to make our session interesting and to get better in our creative writing. Okay, so I hope everyone's prepared for it. Everyone's ready. Show me a thumbs up if you're ready. I want to see everyone full of energy. Okay, great. All the thumbs up that I see, I think they all are ready. Perfect. Great. So now let's get into it. But before we do that, before I directly jump into anything, let me give you all a brief introduction. Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce myself to you all. Okay, I see some of the new faces here, so you should get to know me first, and I should also get to know you. But since there are a lot of the kids in the class, we'll have to keep the introductions to our main sessions when you enroll, okay? So now my introduction is that I am Alice, just like Alice in Wonderland. How many of you know Alice in Wonderland? Okay, great. That's interesting. I also know her. You see, I'm almost similar to her, just how she creates this wonderful, magical, mystical land. Similarly, I'm going to make this session just as wonderful for you guys. So I am Alice, okay, and I'm an English tutor here at Glecta. And today I will be conducting this session for you, and we all will be having fun together and the learning as well. Okay, now, before we move on, I'd request everyone to kindly turn on their cameras. Ailu, Ayash, Hayden, could everyone just quickly turn on their cameras so that I can see your faces? Okay, thank you so much. Now, considering that there are so many kids in the class for this particular live session, you see, I would have to keep you guys on mute. But that does not mean that you can't speak to me or you can't talk to me. If you feel at any point of time that you have any doubts, you have any queries, any questions you would like to ask me, then feel free to send your questions and your queries in the chat box. On the bottom of your screen or somewhere, you're going to find that there's an option to chat, and you can just type in your messages, your questions, and send them to me. All right? All right. I hope this is clear. Show me a thumbs up if everything's clear so far. Very good. Perfect. Now, let me give you a brief of this particular session. This session is like a preface, a preview of all the interesting things that are waiting for you in these main courses. So first of all, Glecta will be starting with their 11 plus mastery courses. Okay, we'll be having maths, advanced word problem and exam based tips and tricks course in which you're going to practice so many papers, so many questions, you'll learn some new tips and tricks for the exams, and you'll learn how to gain speed in there. So if you find maths to be tricky, I would really suggest you should go and take this particular course to get better and to get a better score in there. And for creative writing, as you can see, I'm already here for you. So in our creative writing sessions and in our mastery course, what we'll be covering is all the important topics that we are going to face in our 11 plus exams. So the important topics are, first of all, we have balanced argument. That's the most important one, which we'll be dealing with today as well. This is one topic that's not just going to, be chasing you in 11 plus, but also in your KS3 exams, in your GCSEs. So this is very important because it's going to stick with you through a very long period of time. Then we have persuasive writing. Persuasive writing is when you're trying to persuade someone. Okay, this involves writing a letter to persuade someone of something, an article, an essay, and many more types. Then we have article writing or a recount. Okay, article writings or recounts are basically to provide information to your readers. We'll be dealing with that in our courses. Then we have descriptive writing, wherein, let's say I give you an image. Now you have to write or describe that image. But the image is just one little snapshot of a scenery. How can I write three big paragraphs about it? So don't worry if you feel that part is tricky for you, then in our session, we're going to make that easy, and not just easy, we're even going to, level up a little. We are going to learn how to write the best description of an image possible. Okay, I'll share all the different tips and tricks with you, but just hold on for a while. After that, we'll be doing diary entry and then story writing. Now, I know everyone's thinking that we all can write stories, and that's true. Everyone can write good stories. But how to go from that good story to a brilliant and amazing story, that is the level we'll be covering through our sessions. Okay, so these are the different creative writing topics we'll be taking in this course. I hope this is clear to everyone so far. If yes, you know what to do. Show me a thumbs up. Okay, all right. Perfect. Vijay, Samayak, Nilof, Arfaz, Ayash, could you guys please turn on your cameras and show me a thumbs up if you understood everything so far? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, love. All right, so this is one of the course we'll be going after with. Then we have 11 plus intensive course, which are starting from 20th December. That's very, very soon. That means tomorrow. So if you want, you can also enroll in these courses to get a proper one-on-one session or, online group sessions. In this, we'll be covering advanced maths topics, creative writing topics, advanced comprehensions, and exam-related tips and tricks. Herein, you'll also be encountering a mock test, a proper mock test that is the same way you'll be receiving in your exams. So if you want to see what you'll have to deal with in your main 11 plus exams, you should definitely get into this course and see for yourselves how prepared you are. And this course will definitely help you reach that point. Okay, so how many of you are targeting the 11 plus exams? Could you raise your hands if you are? Okay, very good. So I would really suggest jump onto these courses to know more about what is the pattern of the paper, what are the new styles, the difficult comprehensions, the difficulty levels you'll be receiving. Okay, now this was all about the courses. Let's jump to what we are planning in this session. Yes? Okay, so welcome to your creative writing live session. Okay, now we'll be starting with what we actually came here to do. We'll be learning whatever we have to, look forward to in our upcoming creative writing journey. So, the first thing we have is types of creative writing. So, in 11 plus, you have to deal with a wide variety of creative writing topics such as story writing, picture description, persuasive writing, balanced argument, article, recount, and diary entry. See, these are all the topics that we'll be doing in our course as well, the creative writing course. So if you feel that you need a lot of help, in these sessions, we'll also be practicing them. We'll take one session at a time for every topic and we'll be practicing them with me, the teacher. So I'll be checking your work in the classes itself so that I can give you your feedbacks as well. And we'll be having a good discussion about how to improve our levels. Okay, now a little information about what these topics consist of. Story writing could be a title could be given to you that you have to write a story on the lost world. Let's say, now you have a title. What do you need to write about? How do you plan your answers? How do you write? How much do you write? How much time do you take to write just one paragraph? Oh my God, I think that is a lot of questions. Yes? That is a lot of questions. So, today I'll be answering all of your questions. I'll be giving you an idea of what different types of papers, different types of schools ask for. Okay? I'll be giving you an idea about how to spend, how much time, how to plan everything. Okay. Now, moving ahead, we have either you could also be given line or paragraphs. For example, if I tell you that a storm was coming their way, okay, dot, dot, dot. Now you have to start the story from here. Or I could give you a big paragraph and I could ask you that you have to write the story continuing from this point, where I have ended my paragraph at. Now, this becomes story continuation. Developing a story continuation task is a bit trickier than writing your own story from the beginning. When you're writing your story from the very beginning using a title, then it is easier because I know what I want to write. I've planned everything from the beginning to the end. Whereas in story continuation, there's one twist. Our beginning part that we could have planned very easily has been taken away from us. And now we have to write our stories. We have to continue writing those stories according to someone else's plan, according to someone else's introduction. And how to get into that second paragraph smoothly and how to continue someone else's work smoothly, I'll be teaching you all about that as well. Then we have picture description, which I already gave you an idea about. And I hope everyone's clear on that. Okay, very good. Perfect. Then we have sorry. We have persuasive writing. So you could be given a topic and asked to persuade people. Now, if I tell you that I want to sell this pen, so please buy this pen from me. Do you guys want to buy this pen from me if I say that? Does that make you want to buy it? No, I don't think so because you all have your own pen. So why would you want to buy it from me? Right? So now, if my task is to persuade to buy this pen from me, then what should I do to make you buy this pen from me? Now, let's say this is the only pen that can write on the screen. Look, this helps me write on the screen. Am I correct? Yes. So now, who wants to write on their screen? You can't use your own pen. So now, do you want to buy this pen from me? How many of you are convinced to buy this from me? Show me a thumbs up or a hand raise. There you go. So many of you. Okay, most of you want to buy this pen from me. Okay, thank you so much. You can lower your hands down. You see, what I've done is I have convinced you in a way that you now feel that you want to follow what I'm saying. You want to do what I'm saying. And this is one technique I'll be teaching you in persuasive writing. How to convince people, how to persuade people to do what you want them to do, how to write about it in the same manner. Okay. Now, since we have this session for 1 hour, I don't think we'll be able to cover all the topics, but I've planned the most important ones and we'll be doing that. But for the rest of the topics, we'll definitely be taking them up in our sessions. So, if you want to go ahead and learn about persuasive writing and how to convince people to do what you want, then definitely go ahead and go for the courses. Coming back to the topic, we have balanced argument, as we already discussed, and we'll be taking balanced argument in today's session as well. So I will be holding on about informing you on this. Then we have article and recount. Article and recount is basically providing information about something to your readers. For example, you all read magazine articles. Yes, you must have read newspaper articles at some point of time. Yes? So they're always trying to inform you about something. So there you go. We'll be learning how to do that, what is the proper format of it, and all the important features of an article or a recount even. And then coming to the last topic for today, that is a diary entry topic. So this topic is all about your feelings. So just write them down and pretend that you really were there. And now write your feelings. So, this is all what diary entry is about. Pretend that you are really the character that your question says you are. You really were there where your question says you were, and now just write your feelings. You can write your heart out. But even though it seems so simple, there's a small twist, and that twist will be revealed in this session today. So, now there's one suspense factor in this session which you'll have to wait throughout the session, listen carefully, and then figure out. Okay? I hope everyone's excited and waiting for that suspense factor to reveal itself. All right. So let's get started. Now, let's get to our first topic, that is a balanced argument. Now, Everyone can see the scale, right? Yes. Do you think it's balanced? Show me a thumbs up if you think it's balanced. Show me a thumbs down if you think it's not. It's not balanced, right? Exactly. Very good. It is not balanced. Now, what does this tell us? That this tells us that I'm picking one side. I favor this side and I don't favor this side. This is something that we cannot do in our writing when we are doing a balanced argument. Let's see what we have to do. What is a balanced argument first? A balanced argument looks at different points of views on an issue, providing arguments for and against. So what you do in a balanced argument is, for example, if I give you a topic, do you think should animals perform in circus? We're going to learn about balanced argument using this one example. I hope that's clear. So, how many of you think that animals should perform in circus? I want you to type in a yes in the chat box if you think they should perform in the circuses. Go ahead, type your answers in the chat box. If you think they should perform, type a yes. If you think they should not perform, type a no. Again, everyone, I would kindly request to turn on your cameras and show me your beautiful faces so that I can also get an idea that you're understanding everything. So, could everyone quickly turn on their cameras, please? Okay, very good, Ilo. It's animal abuse. Okay, I thinks yes. All right. Very good, Samaya. Mohammed, Amara. Okay. Prishita, perfect. So far, everyone said yes or a no, right? That they should or they shouldn't. But there's only one kid that, presented with an argument that it's an animal abuse, so that is why they shouldn't perform, right? Now, when you're writing about such a topic and you're asked to present a balanced argument, in that case, whatever you favor, whatever you prefer, should not be given as much importance. Because you see, when we are writing a balanced argument, as the name suggests itself, that you can't be leaning towards one way or the other. You have to write it as if you prefer both sides. You'll have to write it as if you are the person who supported, yes, they should perform, and you are the same person who supported that they should not perform. So now you'll split yourselves into two people and you're going to write it accordingly. And that is what balanced argument is all about. You present both the sides. You see, when you're writing a balanced argument, it is important to remember that it doesn't matter whether you're against it or for it. For example, many of you said it's animal abuse, so no, they should not perform. But yes, you can definitely include that point, but in a balanced argument, you'll have to also talk about that why they should perform. And you have to pick the side, yes, they should perform as well. So you should present both of the sides fairly and equally as well. And then I know that you prefer one side only. Even though you've written all about both the sides, you still prefer one side. So I'll give you that option as well. In the last paragraph, in the final paragraph, after writing about both the sides of the argument, you can state which side do you agree with. Okay, I hope everything's clear so far to everyone. What is a balanced argument and what you're supposed to do in it? I think both these things are clear to everyone. Okay, that's great. Now, what makes a good balanced argument? So, a good balanced argument. Now, if you guys want, you can take a screenshot or a photo of this particular slide. Why? Because this is basically something that is going to help you throughout. It's like a checklist. You can consider this as a checklist of your balanced argument. Why is this a checklist? Let's take a look. Whenever you write a balanced argument, it requires an introduction. For example, if I just said, should animals perform in circuses? And you think, yes, they should or they shouldn't. Even before I come to that particular point, I would have to tell people that animals have been performing in circuses for a very long time. It's not just that. I would have to give a lot more information about what happens to them, how they are treated, and I have to give a lot more information about their, you know, role in the whole performance, right? People enjoy these performances. They are trained for a very long time, and this tradition has been continuing since a longer period even. So I'll have to give all of those things. I'll have to inform people about all of those things in my introduction without giving or without picking a side. And that is what introductions are all about. And that makes your first paragraph even. Then we come to the second or the most important part of your balanced argument, that is opposing views for and against. That means you'll start writing about whether you think that they should perform or they shouldn't. Let's say I feel they should perform in the circuses, right? Now I'll start writing that I'm for this argument. I support it. For always means that you're supporting the argument. Okay, so I think they should perform. Why? Because that makes a very entertaining performance, right? If that makes a very entertaining performance, that means lots of profits for the circuses, right? Am I correct? Yes? Could everyone show me a thumbs up if they agree with me? Okay, very good. Now, this is how I presented 1.4. Now, I have to switch. I have to talk about against as well. Now, I will forget that I prefer that they should perform. I will consider that I think they should not perform. So now the point that I'll write it from the point of view where I do not support it at all. For example, I could say the animals are brutally tortured in order for them to learn to perform. They're kept starving. Yes? Do you guys agree with me that they are kept starving and they are tortured? And that is why they should not perform, right? So there you go. This is one way of writing a balanced argument. That means so far I've introduced my point. I have written views for and then I've written views against. But writing 2 points that they are great entertainers and writing that they are tortured. These 2 points won't give me a big paragraph, right? That's not enough. I have to write more. So I can continue in the same pattern. That means I can write 1.4 and 1 point against. Then again, I can write 1.4 and 1 point against. And that is how I can continue writing a balanced argument. And that makes it an interesting debate, don't you think? How many of you agree with me that it looks better this way? Yes? There you go. See, so many of you agree with me. Whereas, if you feel that you don't want to go back and forth between for and against, you want to stick to one side, you can do that just as well. You can pick one side and write all about it. For example, after my introduction paragraph, after my introductory paragraph, what I can do is I can write all the points I have for, and then once I'm done writing all the points, one big paragraph about for, then I can switch sides and I can start writing against. Okay. If I'm done with that whole paragraph, I can switch sides, I can write about against, and there you go. Now I have 3 paragraphs. The first one is for introduction. The second one is to support that yes, animals should perform in circuses. My third paragraph is to showcase that no, they should not perform in the circuses. And then what comes at the end? A concluding paragraph, which is going to include the writer's own opinion. Now I can say that in conclusion to this, I feel, or in my opinion, you can use all of these above sentence openers to write your opinion interestingly. Simple enough for everyone? Okay, great. All right. If you feel like you have some questions, you want to ask me about anything, feel free to send your queries in the chat box. I'm open to all of them, okay? And if you feel that you want me to slow down a little, you want me to pace up a little, any suggestions that you have, I'm also open to all of those. Okay? But just focus on your understanding because this session is all about your understanding and for you to get better. Okay? All right. Now, if you're good, if you're doing great so far, show me a thumbs up and a big smile. We're approaching the holiday season. I think everyone should be happy. Very good. Okay. Great, Zizel. Okay. Now, coming to the next point, next part in our checklist, we have a mixture of casual conjunctions and adverbials. Now, this is confusing. What is this? What do we mean by casual conjunctions and adverbials? So let's skip a few things and let me show what do I mean by that. So, you see, I've planned all of these things that I want to show you, but all good things take time. So we'll have to show some patience today. All right. And here you go. As I was talking about casual conjunctions, contrasting conjunctions, and adverbials. You see, if you want, you can take a photo or a screenshot of this page. Now, in our sessions, when we get started, I'll be showcasing you this kind of list for all the topics that we do. What kind of sentence openers could you use? What kind of contrasting conjunctions or casual conjunctions you could use when you want to show a contrasting point? What kind of fronted adverbials you can use as sentence openers to present your sentences in the most amazing way. Because you see, everyone can write, right? I think every one of us knows how to write. We can do a creative writing task. But what is going to make ours very special? You see, we want ours to be very special, right? Am I correct? Everyone wants their task to be special. So, how do we make that? We do that by introducing some interesting words, some interesting language devices, and techniques to it. So I'll be sharing all of those in the form of a list with you guys, just like this one. So let's take a look. What do I have in this list for balanced argument specifically? In a balanced argument where you're contradicting yourselves, you would need some contrasting conjunctions. So you could go ahead with an outcome of, subsequently, accordingly, therefore, in order to, thus, hence, in this way, otherwise, many people believe, although, so that, and much more. You see, the list doesn't end here. This is just a preview of the list that I'll be sharing with you. Okay, so there is still more to come. Now, since we have taken a good look at this list, we know what kind of words we can use to open the sentences. Let's go back and see what else do I have planned for you. So, now going back, you see, this is going to be a sample answer that I share with you. So, in this particular question, these two kids are discussing, should homework be banned? How many of you think that the homework should be banned? Raise your hands or show me a thumbs up if you think the homework should be banned. You should not get any homework. How many of you agree with this? Okay, a few of you. All right, no worries. So let's see, let's take a look at this particular argument that I prepared for you and see, let's come to a conclusion that do you want homework or not? So you see, you may have an opinion. I think since I'm a teacher, I have this opinion that I should give you homework. You see, but since you're kids, you have to take it and do it. You might feel that the homework shouldn't be given. You want to enjoy your days, no? So let's read this article. Let's read this particular balanced argument and see what is better. Now, starting with it, in my introduction paragraph, anyone who has ever been to school knows what it is like to be sent home with piles of homework. Okay, how many of you get piles of homework that you have to finish over the weekend and you don't get to enjoy? Anyone? Okay, that means everyone's enjoying their weekends. That's a good thing. Oh, I feel so sorry, but no worries. In our sessions, I won't be giving you a lot of homework. Okay? We'll be practicing a lot though together. All right. Now, you see, in my introductory paragraph, I'm not picking sides. For years, teachers have been setting extra maths, spellings, and other assignments to be completed outside of regular lessons. But with the increasing pressure of modern day life, there is a growing call for homework to be banned. Here are some arguments for and against. So, you see, this was my introduction about homework. And nowhere did I pick sides whether we should give it or not. Whereas I started talking about it after showing that I will pick sides. And here you go. You see, many people is one point that was in our conjunctions list, right? In our adverbials list. I've used that. Many people see homework as it's an important part of the school. And now I'm emphasizing on the importance of homework, which means I'm taking the side for that yes, homework should not be banned. I should give you homework. And in our sessions as well, I'll be bringing some sample answers, past year paper questions, so that you can read them and take inspiration from it as to how to present an argument. Right? Do you remember when I was trying to sell you this pen? I presented selling this pen in two different ways. I just said, buy this pen. Now, when I say buy this pen, that doesn't convince anyone. Similarly, when we write sentences in a plain and boring way, that does not leave a great impact. In our sessions, I'll be teaching you how to transform those sentences, how to write or how to pick the language in a way that your readers are automatically impacted. They always feel influenced from your writing. So, would everyone want to learn that? Okay. And tell me something. If I show you such sample answers, this is a proper balanced argument if you see. You see, on the other hand, I'm contradicting my my second last paragraph, the flip side, the argument, all of this. This is my sample answer. So if you do you think if I show you more of such sample answers and you read them with me, you'll get better? Do you think you'll get better by reading more and more sample answers? Good quality answers, good quality writing tasks. How many of you feel that? Show me a thumbs up. Okay. Rishita, Ayat, you guys don't feel that you'll get better? Okay. All right. All right. I'll tell you one thing how you'll get better. Look, you see, when we are writing, we usually forget that we need to use such kind of sentence openers, the flip side of an argument. And furthermore, due to ever increasing government expectations, parents sometimes feel unable to help their child. You see, this one line is going to have an impact on you as to how to present your own arguments. Once you read the sample answer and I ask you to write your own version of it, don't you think you'll take inspiration from it? Yes, you'll be taking a lot of inspiration from this answer, and you'll also be writing just as good of a task, just as good of a composition. So that is why in our sessions, I'll be showing you so many more of these that you'll always have very good points in your head as to what to write to a question. So is that good enough for everyone? Now, don't worry, it's not just all about sample answers. We have lots and lots more of things to still learn. Now, should homework be banned? Okay. So, when I say should homework be banned in this case, what do you think? Did it change your mind? So let's see which argument was stronger. Now, I know we still did not read the whole task, right? But you guys have your own opinions that homework should be banned or not? Do you guys have your own opinions? Yes or no? Yes, you do. So let's see, what do you think? Now, before I move on and before I explain what we're going to do next, I'll just give you this brief little poster. I want to tell you about this brief little course that is about GCSEs. Now, don't worry. I remember you guys are still, very little. You're still doing 11 plus. So, this particular GCSE rapid course is maybe for your brothers or your seniors or your sisters or your friends or anyone that you know is going to give GCSEs and is a little scared or nervous, maybe. So, you can recommend this course to them as we'll be covering a lot of live classes in there. We'll have mock test practice. Then we'll have best practice papers and past year, previous year papers in there as well. We'll have student notes. And don't worry, all of these things are would be given to you guys as well. You would also have access to recordings of the lecture. So if you feel like you understood everything in the lecture and you forgot something, you can go back and check the recording of the same lecture again and feel like you're in the same class all over again. So you can learn everything in depth over and over again until you understand it. And since it will be a recorded session, you'll be watching a recording as well. You can just forward it and go backwards and stop wherever you want to learn from. So you can recommend this course to the GCSE kids if you know anyone, and this would be really helpful for them as well. I hope this is clear. Great. Moving on, how do you write a balanced argument? So, firstly, you need a subject to write about. Of course, if I don't give you a topic, you won't be able to write a balanced argument, no? So, we need a subject. For example, in this example, it was about whether homework should be banned or not. And we all saw that homework is an important part because we just get to learn something new and extra. Then you need to come up with the arguments for and against. Let's see how do we do that. There's a proper way of planning your arguments. So, here you go. When you write the title, Prepare a tabular form in case of a balanced argument if you're doing that task. Balanced argument should always be prepared. The points or planning should always be in a tabular form wherein you're comparing for and against side by side. You see, in all the arguments that I've presented on this particular table, in this particular table, they are going to be contradicting each other so that when I present them in my argument, they have cohesion. Cohesion means that they are linked to each other. Let's see. Homework is an important part of school life and helps people continue their learning at home. So, this point tells us that it is important. Why? Because whatever you learn right now in the class, you get to revise it. And that becomes permanently embedded in your heads. And that is why homework is important. On the other hand, how am I contradicting my own point? I'm saying that you guys need time away from education as well, right? You guys need time to play and exercise and to relax even because school can be tiring. Do I am I correct? Yes. So you need time to relax as well. So you see how both these points contradict themselves. And that is how I'm taking the side of the homework and I'm going against the homework as well at the same time. And I think they are very good points for and against homework. Do you guys agree with that as well? There you go. So, this is what you'll be learning in the classes with me. Also, we'll be having discussions as to what to write about. So, when we have discussions, you'll be hearing the points from other kids as well. You'll be hearing my points as well, and you can include those in your writing. That will also help you write a better composition. Do you guys agree to that as well? Show me a thumbs up if you do. Okay, very good, everyone. Now, let's move on and let's see what I've planned next. So, here you go. Now, we need to note down the other arguments. You will also need supporting evidence to back up your argument. If I just say that homework is important, and on the other side, I say I need time to relax after school, so both the points are good enough. But what is the evidence for it? Why am I saying these points? How can I prove that I need time out for relaxing? So it's and always very important for you guys to present with some kind of evidence or supporting argument. So let's go back and check what's the support I have in here. Look, herein I have said that research shows a positive link between homework and achievement levels. So, research shows that homework is important. Now, we can't argue with that, of course, because it's going to help you build your learning. Research has proven that the kids have gotten better. They have achieved better results after doing their homework. Now, this proves that whatever I said in this argument is true, is absolutely true. Now, on the other side, I said government guidelines say 60 minutes of exercise are important, right? If 60 minutes of exercise is important, then where should I get that time from if I have loads and loads of homework? That means I should not get homework, right? So that also proves my point that I said just now. Do you guys agree? So there you go. This is how I showcase evidence for my writing as well. And so far, do you guys think I've presented a well written argument for should homework be banned? Yes? Okay. And how many of you think that you could write on the same level? You could have written on the same level so far. You see, we could not have done we could not have given as great a performance. And even if we could have, we need to learn how to, present it as well, because this is still my planning. This is not my main composition, right? I've already shown you the main composition right here. Correct? So this is my main composition. And I'll be keeping the main composition, how to go about it, still a secret, so that we can learn about it with proper timing and proper discussions in our sessions. Now, getting back, let's move further and see. Here you go. Now, when I talk about my first paragraph, can you remember the first argument? The first argument in the example that we read is about homework. That homework is an important part of school life and it helps you guys continue your learning at home. It does not take into consideration that it is good, it's bad, should it be banned, or should it not be banned. It just talks about what homework is and how important it could be in your life. And that is how you present your first paragraph, which is always and always about introduction and not about taking sides. Then, after that, we need to move on to the second paragraph. And the second paragraph should always be about for and against, just how we saw in this table. Yes, so this is what I can consider my second paragraph to look like. I hope everything's clear to everyone so far. Can you guys show me a thumbs up if everything's clear? Okay. All right, so far everyone understands how to write their first introductory paragraph, their for paragraph, their against paragraph. Does everyone understand that? Okay, very good. So let's move on to our third and final paragraph. You see, in our third and final paragraph, what we do is we introduce the conclusion that we have argued, we have presented so many points on something. So, what is the conclusion of it? What are we gaining or what do we understand from it? So, what we do is in the final paragraph, you switch to your opinion. That means your first person. I hope everyone knows what's first person. Do we all know what is first person? Very good. First person is when I talk in the using the pronouns I. For example, I think, in my opinion, I feel, I don't believe. All every time I use I, it becomes first person. Okay? And your concluding paragraph or your last paragraph, your conclusion should always and always be in the first person. Okay, wherein you say that in conclusion, there are many strong arguments for and against. But I don't believe homework should be banned because it literally is very important for you. It's an important part of your learning. And that's how you present your final paragraph. So far, so good, everyone? Okay. Now, let's move on a little further. So far, we have learned about one little topic and we have learned so many new things about it. Let's switch to another topic and see how I'll be learning more of these. Now, this is all about diary entry. How many of you know how to write a diary entry? Okay, I don't see any hand raised. Okay, now I do. Very good, Amara. Very good, Ilo. Very good, Samayak. Okay, very good, Rishita, Ayat. All right, so we all know, I think, how to write. Very good, Ayanj. So we all know how to write a diary entry, but how to write the best one? So let me show you some important key points. So the first one that we have here is diary entry must include the date or time when you're writing it, because diary entries are like a record of how you felt on a particular day or what happened to you on a particular day, right? So it should include that time period. For example, it is past midnight. So I know when I'm writing this. If I pick my diary entry from 2 years ago, I'll know when I wrote it, right? And here's the date for it. So you write your date and time and your day all on the left corner. Then you write Dear Diary, comma, and then you start from the next line. And this becomes the format of your diary entry. I think it's quite simple. Yes. Then the next thing is it should always be written in the past tense. Am I correct? Yes. So diary entry must be written in the past tense. Why? Because whenever we write diary entry is supposed to be written about how your day went and how did you feel throughout. Something happened with me, so how do I feel about it? How do I feel? What feelings do I have towards it? And that is what I write in my diary entry. It's all about your feelings, as if you remember. So that is why we write it always in the past tense. And here you go. For example, I cannot sleep very well as I am so excited about my birthday. Now, how can we change this sentence into past? I could say I could not sleep very well as I was so excited about my birthday. And now this shows that my birthday has already happened, right? And I woke up at 5 a.m. and got dressed. So it tells me what I did on that day as well. Now, it also showcases that I know what diary entry is about and I've used the correct approach to write it. So far, so good, everyone? Okay. Now, moving on, diary entry is, of course, again, all about your personal feelings. So we use the words like I, me, myself, our, we, all the first person pronouns. It's always about you. So write in the first person. Is that clear? All right. Now you see on the screen there are two sentences, right? There are two little paragraphs. I want everyone to read it and show me on your fingers which of these paragraphs are in first person. Go ahead. I'm giving everyone 2 minutes. Let's see who can identify it correctly. Okay, I see so many fingers. Very good, my love. Okay, perfect. You can show me on your fingers or you can type it in the chat box. Which number do you think is in first person? Very good, Rishita, Ayan, some okay. Ilo, perfect. All right. Very good, Said, Radhe. Perfect, everyone. I think I'm receiving all the correct answers. Very good. The first one is in the first person, and that is how I will write in my diary entry. If I write it in the second way, then it becomes wrong. Your marks could also be deducted. You see, this is why we need to learn the important aspects of diary entry. And these are just some minimum basic, items on a diary entry list, the format. And we have still more to go on about. But don't worry, I won't be taking all of those today because we have already learned about one important aspect. I'll just quickly skip through these informations that I have here for you, which don't worry again, we'll be taking in detail, in depth in our sessions. Okay, we'll be going over them very well, thoroughly in our sessions again. And right now, we'll just go through a quick checklist of all these points. Okay, so you can see what I've prepared for you and you can just wait for the sessions to start and come back for more. So here you go. Now we're finally at the checklist. So I hope you remember that in the beginning we talked about how it should include a date or time. It should be written in the past tense. It should always be in the first person. Then the next thing on the checklist would have been write as if you were there. So, for example, if I give you a question that you're stuck in a primary school teacher and you're stuck in a war zone, think about what the situation is like, who's fighting, and now write a diary entry when you're trying to go to the border to escape the country. You see, this is the kind of level you'll be receiving in your exams. And I'll be bringing those past year papers for you and the same level questions for you to take a look at and get acquainted with so that you never feel that they are difficult when you actually receive them in your exams. Okay, now, this is the kind of checklist you'll have to remember. Keep in mind, you can take a screenshot or a photo of this page as well. Okay, you can do that and keep it in mind that whenever you write a diary entry, you'll have to go through all of these. And if you feel that you have any doubts about any of the points on this checklist, then again, as I promised, don't worry about them at all because in our sessions, we'll be taking all of them one by one in detail. We'll be discussing them all, we'll be, practicing them all as well. And now let's come to this. I want everyone to take a good look at the screen. The question says civil war. Civil war is a war between groups of people or regions from the same country. For example, the north of the country and the south of the country, they are fighting. This becomes a civil war. Now, civil war has broken out in your country you live in. You're a primary school teacher and you've been hiding since the fighting started a week ago. Your supplies, that means the food you had, the water you had, and everything that was important to survive upon, they're almost running out. So you have to decide to make a break for it. You want to go to the border and escape the country. Before you go, you have to write your thoughts in a journal. Okay, so you have to write a diary entry about what you will be doing and how you feel. This is the kind of question you'll be receiving in the exams. And now, in our classes, I'll teach you how to write about it. So, what I'll tell you is, I'll tell you how to plan. And how do you plan a diary entry? You start asking questions because you have to explain how you feel. You would have to know how you feel about it. And the only way to know how you feel about it if as if you were really there. So let's start asking questions. First, I need to know who is really fighting and why are they fighting about it? Where are you hiding? So where are you living? Where are you safe so far? And is there anyone else with you? What have you experienced over the last few days? Then, how far is the border? Since you're trying to reach the border to escape the country, how far is it from you? And how will you commute to there? And then, why are you making notes about the event? Why are you writing about it? And you have to write a journal entry about it. So now, this is kind of tricky because we have never witnessed such kind of questions before. So don't worry, as I promised you in the beginning, I still have the sample answers with me for you. And there you go. So you see, I've planned everything for you. Now we see that McCabe, um, North can take another beating. That means North and South are fighting in this particular diary entry that I've prepared for you. And rumor has it that villages of south of the mountains are already giving up their money. That means the south is giving up. They are losing, right? And soon they'll be coming for the teacher as well. And there are many more details in this sample answer which answer all the questions that you saw here. So I've answered everything in my journal to give you as many details as possible, including my feelings. And when we get to our sessions, I'll teach you how to write the same thing and I'll make you read this as well. So do you want to read what I've written for you guys? Do you want to see what kind of sample answer I've prepared for you? Okay, that's great. Show me a thumbs up if you want to read it. All right. So, in our sessions, we'll be taking a look at this. Okay, pray that I now make the border safely. So, I hope you guys pray for us for this primary school teacher as well because she really wants to go back somewhere safe. Okay, so wait for the sessions and we'll be reading all of this together. Now, here is another sample question for you. All right. This question is something that I would really want you guys to practice if you have some time on you before the session start. And when we get to our sessions, you can send me your sample answers. I can check those for you and we'll see where the improvements are required and how we can make it better. Now, this question says that a newspaper article has been written to announce the opening of the Dimension Express. This express is a train that allows its passengers to explore different dimensions at each stop on the journey. So basically, in some of the schools or the papers, what you'll get is they'll give you a question like this that you have to read this article. This article talks about all the different dimensions you'll be visiting. There's even one dimension in here wherein the sky is where the sea is, and the sea is where the sky is. So you'll be visiting that dimension as well. And there's a dimension where everything is made up of mirrors. So, this article is going to give you all the information about all such dimensions. And then your task. So, imagine that you really were on this Dimension Express and on its first cross dimensional journey. So, now you have to write a diary entry describing what this journey was like and what you experienced. Now, since you've never really witnessed a realm like this before, how can you write about it? Okay. But now, before I tell you how to write about it, I want you to practice this question. Okay. Just try it out. Think what you could write. Think what are the good ways you can, spice things up. How can you make it better? What are the questions you should ask yourselves? And what answers you should provide in your diary entry so that your readers feel that you really were there? So try all of these things. Try and write a diary entry about this kind of dimension. Make it interesting. And then let's enroll in the session and see what are the improvements we require. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, so far we have reached almost the end of the session. So I want to know, did everyone understand everything? If you did, show me a good thumbs up. Show me a thumbs up very quickly. Okay, all right. And how many of you are happy with the session? You enjoyed the whole session. You learned a lot of new things. Quickly show me a double thumbs up if you enjoyed. Show me just one thumbs up if you didn't. Let's see how many of you have a double thumbs up. Oh, I see a lot of thumbs ups. Very good. Okay, great. Okay, if you still have some questions, you can send them in the chat box. Okay, and there's just a quick revision, a quick recap that we are starting with our 11 plus mastery courses. If anyone has doubts, if there's anyone who wants to inquire about these courses, then you see these numbers, you can note these numbers down, you can send any queries or any questions that you have in here, and You can also book a free demo for the classes as well. So make sure that you take a screenshot of this particular poster, keep it with you, and enroll in the sessions to get a better result. Okay? All right. I want to see how many of you want to go ahead for the courses. Show me raise your hands if you want to go ahead and learn in these courses. And if you really want to read in these the sample answers for the stories, interesting picture descriptions, the diary entries that I've prepared for you, raise your hands if you want to enroll and read all of that. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, so that's an amazing response. Now, let's do one thing. We have learned enough for one day. Let's keep the session up till here. And now you'll be having your math session and let's have fun in maths as well. Okay, we're going to keep this particular session up till here and I'm going to see you all in our sessions. Okay, so goodbye till then and have a very Merry Christmas. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.